welcome to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen. I'm with the Saybrook chapter of GBN. Hey, Saybrook, hope you're watching. And today we are with John Pecca. He's with the Pee Dee Chapter of GBN. And before we get started and get into what John does, we want to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. You can reach them at 843-492-5422. They have offices in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. You can also reach them at grandstrandlawgroup.com. You can leave any comments or questions for John or for GBN in your comments section, but you might have to give permission first. So to do that, go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and you can grant us permission to show your comments, and we will get them any questions answered on air. So today's guest, we have John Pecca. He's with A&J Firearms and Training in the Pee Dee Chapter. And when we come back, we will get talking to him. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Today we're with John Pecca with A&J Firearms and Training in the Pee Dee Chapter of GBN. So thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you.
We're glad you made it here. So you drove in this morning, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. How was it?
That drive wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too bad. Good.
We didn't have a lot of traffic. I was expecting a little bit more, given the fact that it's the middle of the summer in Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
So.
You can pretty much expect it.
Yes.
So that's pretty good. So your day started out with some good luck there.
Absolutely.
That's all right. So before we get into A&J Firearms and Training and what that's all about, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're from?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from New Jersey. It may come as a shock to you. I'm not a native South Carolinian. It's not a native South Carolinian, but moved here in '94. Spent the first 34 years of my life in New Jersey. Been in Florence ever since.
Okay.
My wife Angela and I we're going to be celebrating our 5th wedding anniversary next Friday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, congratulations! Happy anniversary.
And that's about it. We have a whole bunch of cats. That's our pets. So.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How many do you have?
I think last count was 18.
Stop! 18 cats.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I'm sure they're indoor, outdoor cats.
No,
or
most
they're
of them
all
are
indoor.
Most of them are indoor.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! And you can tell them all apart. They all have. I'm sure they all have their own personalities.
Absolutely.
You know, just like any animal. Any
Absolutely.
Pet. Wow, that's pretty good though. That's pretty good. You must go through a lot of cat food.
A lot of cat food, yes.
And a lot of kitty litter, but we won't get into
that.
All right. Well, very good. Well, tell us a little bit about A&J Firearms. You are located in Florence, then, I assume, as well, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
we are in Florence at 184 West Evans Street. Oddly enough, my wife and I share a retail space. She's got Consider the Lilies, which is a flower shop, and then inside the flower shop, we've got an area carved out for the gun shop. So it's a little bit of a unique adventure. Okay,
I was going to ask you when I was on your website about the logo with the flowers.
That logo, well, the logo actually, if you look at it, I can show you the silhouette of the man and the woman with the gun, actually was the topper on our wedding cake.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was.
That's neat.
So I've got a picture on my phone I could show you.
That's
of that.
neat.
So yeah. So we've been teaching concealed weapons permits now. I don't know how many years, since 2015. We started selling the guns last year. It was about last May, I think it was, when we started.
So it's fairly new.
So we try and differentiate ourselves from other gun shops. We offer a personalized experience when it comes to buying a gun. So we're not just going to sell you the first thing you look at in the case. I want to get a gun that's going to fit you, fit your purpose, and fit your hands. Guns are task specific. They're also different sizes with different grip geometries.
Right.
So we've also taken people who are on the fence about a particular gun to the range and let them shoot some of the guns, so that they get familiar with them and understand what they're actually buying before they buy it.
Right.
So.
That's interesting. And a great point too. So I went to the range and I shot a 9mm and also a 22. And I don't really know anything about guns. So if I were to walk into a store and say, you know what, I think I should protect myself, have a gun, blah, blah, I wouldn't really know what to do. And I found that the 9mm was really hard for me to pull back. So you don't really think of those things. So being able to try them out, see what fits your hand, see what you're comfortable with, I think that's a great great point.
And there's also techniques for racking the slides on guns like that for people that don't have as much hand strength. I mean, there's ways to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the thing is, you buy a gun, it's not like buying a pair of shoes. You're not going to be able to take it back. I mean, it's difficult to do stuff, especially after you shot it. So
okay, that's good to know too. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I have the receipt.
well, yeah, most places we deal in new guns. I try not to do much with used guns, just because there's issues with where did the gun come from, you know, with the history of it, things like that.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
But if you bought a gun from me and you took it out and shot it, then you wanted to sell it back to me, I couldn't give you full retail price for it.
Of course.
You know, so yeah, exactly at that point.
Exactly.
So.
Okay. So I know you also offer the open carry permit, or what exactly is an open carry? What does that mean?
Well,
I'm not sure on that.
Was it in May of 2021, Governor McMaster signed into law the Open Carry with Training Act, which basically says that if you have a valid concealed weapons permit in South Carolina, you can now carry your gun openly. In other words, you don't need a concealment garment anymore. The gun doesn't have to be concealed.
Oh.
That's the law. I personally advocate against open carry myself because I think it's a bad idea. Open carry is concealed carry gives you a tactical advantage. The less people that know you're carrying a gun, the better off you're going to be. So I prefer not to advertise that myself. So
right. So open carry means you can just have it out in the open, and
you can carry it on in a belt holster or something. Well, in your
or?
pocket will be concealed, but I'm saying if you had a holster on your belt, for instance,
and it was showing.
Yes. And,
okay.
You know,
okay. All right. I got that. I got the difference. You
know.
Okay. So what are the requirements then if you were going to carry a concealed? Because like you said, you feel that makes more sense.
Right.
But there's certain requirements for that too, aren't there?
You've got to get a concealed weapons permit. To get a concealed weapons permit, there's a training course which is offered, which we offer. And the training course involves a classroom portion. There's a 50 question written test, and then there's the range qualification. We offer, our class is different than most. When you come to me for a concealed weapons permit, I just don't want to see you get the little permit in your pocket. I want to make sure that you understand that you're carrying a gun, that when to use it, where to use it, and how to use it, and the legal ramifications. So we spend a lot of time talking about legals, talking about situational awareness, carry options, the different parts of the gun. We get a lot of new shooters who aren't familiar with guns.
Right.
So we do a lot of that. And then when we get to the range, we practice before we run the qualification. So get people familiar with how the guns feel in their hands. We normally have a lot of people that don't have guns, so we have loaner guns we can let them use, and they find out then they don't like this gun, they like that one, and you know, it helps them discern where they want to be in terms of what they want to buy and what they want to carry.
Right.
So.
Right. I gotcha. Now, isn't there also something called an enhanced concealed?
Not in South Carolina.
There's not.
There are other states that offer enhanced permits, which, from my understanding, gives you the ability to carry in locations where you cannot with the standard permit. But South Carolina does not have an enhanced carry permit.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Very good. We're going to take a quick break now, and after the break, we're going to discuss more about gun safety and what people really need to know. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Justice Ann. I've been a canine liaison at Grand Strand Law Group for, 30 years? What's that? You don't believe me? I meant 30 dog years, of course. First rule of lawyering, read the fine print. Anywho, my humans at Grand Strand Law Group have a combined 20 years experience. I know, not as much as me, but that's in people years. So yeah, still pretty impressive. Real estate, estate planning, or probate, you need GSLG.
Grand Strand Law Group. Trust us, we have a dog.
Great Business Networking grew out of the idea that by creating lasting friendships within the community, we can make the community even better.
I was looking to network with professionals and to be able to refer my clients to somebody that I trust.
Well, it's really important to trust the members of the group because we really generate quality referrals, and to know somebody, be friends with them, and get that qualified referral is the key to success.
It is networking, but it doesn't feel like networking, and that is important to me. I come to the meetings, I have fun, I make great connections, and I help grow my business.
GBN, these are some of the best professionals in the market, and having that resource available to me, that's priceless.
Well, GBN is a network of business professionals that build long-lasting friendships that will not only grow my business, will grow yours as well. That's what referral marketing is all about.
GBN really is the most important marketing for your business. Check us out today.
Welcome back to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen, and with me today is John Pecca with A&J Firearms and Training. Before we get back to John, I just wanted to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. You can reach them at 843-492-5422, also grandstrandlawgroup.com. They have offices in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, and they are ready to be your trusted advisor. If you have any questions for GBN or today's guest, any questions for John, you can leave them in the comments section. And again, you may have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and we will do our best to get those questions answered. So we're back, John. All right. I do have a question still going with that concealed weapons permit. If you don't have that permit, can you get in trouble? Is it a big trouble? Is there a penalty?
Yeah, without a permit, you can have a gun in your car.
Okay.
Within a closed compartment that has an integral fastener within the passenger compartment of the vehicle. For instance, your glove box or your center console, you can have a loaded gun in there. That is within the laws of South Carolina.
Okay.
Carrying it on your person, on the other hand, is another issue. If you get caught carrying a gun on your person without a permit, there is a $2,500 fine and/or 1 year imprisonment, and it's a misdemeanor. I don't know about second or third offense. I presume it might rise to a felony, but then again, I don't know that for a fact. But it is a misdemeanor offense, first offense, $2,500 and/or a year in prison.
Okay, so you definitely, if you're going to be carrying it, you definitely want to get that permit.
And SLED now, today, the permit doesn't cost you anything to get. It used to be a $50 fee. Now SLED does not charge the $50. The only cost is the cost of the class right now. So there's really no reason not to get a permit.
Right. So, and how long does it take?
The permit, generally, once you take the class, I've had some of my students get their permits back in a few weeks, and others take a few months. I don't honestly know what the difference is, why it takes longer for ones than the other. It could be because they got to go out of state, maybe. I don't know, for background checks.
Right. Right. Interesting. We do have a comment, actually, from Myrtle Beach Living. Do you just sell handguns?
No, we sell rifles and shotguns also. So
Okay.
we can, and what we don't have in the store, a lot of gun shops want to sell you what they got on the rack. If we don't have something you want, I can order it for you. I have no problem doing special orders.
Okay, and I also saw you also have other night vision goggles and a lot of different gear and that kind of stuff as well.
We don't have night vision goggles, but we do. We do hearing protection. We can get them if you want them.
Okay,
Nothing
gotcha.
I have in stock.
I thought I saw that, but yeah, okay.
But on the website, I can order them from you through the website if that's what you're asking. But yes,
we don't have
get
them
stuff like that. We sell a lot of cleaning equipment. We have concealed carry purses, holsters, and things like that.
Okay, different accessories.
Tools, knives, pepper spray.
Right. So you touched a little bit, and I just want to touch on this about, maybe if you were in a different state. So the laws are different from state to state?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So South Carolina, we've got reciprocity now, I believe, with either 31 or 33 states that we have reciprocity with, where your concealed carry permit is valid in those states. There are different laws in different states, so you do need to be cognizant of, if you're going from here to North Carolina, they may have different requirements regarding where you can carry the gun and things like that. Like South Carolina, for instance, you can't carry in police stations, jails, courthouses, daycare centers, hospitals, places like that. North Carolina has similar restrictions, but they may be different. So before you go there, you really do need to check the laws.
Yeah, you really do need to check. Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. That's actually good to know, because some people might think, well, this is just the law,
It's the law of this state, not the law of... Yeah.
Right. So if you do have your permit, how often then, I would assume, how often do you have to renew it?
That's 5 years.
Oh, every 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And is it they give you a card?
It's almost exactly like your license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has your picture on it
Absolutely.
and all that? Okay. All right, gotcha. So you also talked about that you have in your shop things to clean your gun with. I guess that's something that I don't really know a lot about guns, but so is that something that is important to do?
Yes. My guns that I carry, I clean them about once a month, even if I don't shoot them.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, but they get, Clean them and oil them. Make sure the guns function properly, things like that. Any guns that you shoot regularly, you need to clean. My carry guns, after I shoot them, I always clean them before I put them back in the holster and carry them again.
Gotcha. So what gets dirty, like the barrel inside where the
Yeah,
bullet
there's
comes
powder
out?
residue, things like that. The guns also, they're oiled, and the oil gets dirty and things like that, so it's always a good idea to take them apart and clean them.
Okay.
The other thing about cleaning a gun is it also gives you a chance to inspect the gun, make sure that everything's still working the way it's supposed to. All the screws are tight, all the parts are not worn. I mean, if you shoot your guns a lot, you could have stuff wear out, and it's needless to say you need to replace those parts.
Right. Is it special gun oil that you have to use?
You can use probably
Like they
anything you
sell
want,
gun
but I mean,
oil?
yeah, they sell.
There is specific.
We sell a break-free CLP in the shop, which is a good oil. That's what I use on my guns at home. And then Hoppy's No. 9 powder solvent, which is what I use. But you can buy you can buy any sort of mineral oil and use it. You don't have to use that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Just something that's going to stay on the gun and lubricate it pretty much.
Gotcha. Very good. Yeah, I didn't know that you had to take such care to clean them, like you said, at least monthly, and oil and all that. That's good to know too. So as far as safety, because I'm sure with your trainings you said you talk a lot about safety.
Absolutely.
And anything like that. Can you give us some tips on how to safely handle a gun?
Sure. First of all, there's 4 firearm safety rules that you have to obey at all times.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is treat all guns as if they're always loaded. Okay.
Okay.
The second one is never allow your muzzle to cover anything you're not prepared to destroy. The third one, keep your finger at index until your sights are on target and you're ready to fire. And the fourth is be aware of your target and what's beyond it. During the class, we go through examples of these and what can happen and if in fact you don't obey them.
Right.
With regard to gun safety, one of the things is how do you make your gun safe? How do you unload your gun? Things like that. Well, I can show you.
Yes. So what is this now?
This is a Glock 19.
Okay.
This is one of my personal guns here. It's a little bit fancier than the stock gun. I've got a red dot sight on it, and higher sights so that you can see through the red dot. To clean this gun or to take the gun apart, the first thing you do is pull the magazine out. Now this gun is unloaded, but if it wasn't, this magazine would be full with rounds here. Then what I always do is rack the slide several times back and forth like this. The reason for that is a couple. First of all, you have to get the round that's out of the chamber, out of the gun. The second thing is if the gun is dirty or old, there is a possibility that the extractor won't work and the round may get stuck in there, which comes us to the third thing.
And you may not know it.
Exactly, which comes us to the third thing you want to do is look down the magazine well, look down the barrel, and then physically verify that nothing's in there, okay?
Can you see through it? Like
Yeah, yes, you can see through the...
You can see if there was a bullet in there,
Yes,
you'd be able to see it. Okay.
absolutely. And that's pretty much it. So then this gun would then be considered safe. And if you were going to store it, I would store it, put the magazine back in, and then put it back in the holster, and then store it wherever you wanted to store it at that point. So.
All right. All right, very good. So that's good. So you can literally see through, and you can see physically if there's a gun in the chamber. Because that would, I think, make me nervous. Not you take the magazine out and make sure that nothing got stuck in there.
I have had people tell me stories about with older guns where they rack the slide back and the round stays in there.
And it stayed.
So you do have to be careful. The one thing about guns is they can be dangerous in the wrong hands or if they're not treated properly.
Right. And so when you're doing the gun check, I would assume that you probably run through like a checklist in your head or a proper technique, like you just showed us, for how to conduct that gun check. So do you have like a checklist like in your head that you go through, or maybe someone who's new to it?
Yes, so I recommend you do the same thing the same way every time. So you have your one manual of arms. I don't treat unloaded guns any different than I treat loaded guns. When I'm unloading the gun, as I showed you before, I do exactly that. Magazine out, rack the slide several times, lock it back, and then physically and visually look at it every single time. Do it the same way every time. It will become muscle memory, and you won't forget it.
Right. It seems like that's kind of like what you want to do, is get in the routine so you don't skip a step because you're thinking of something else or, have other things on your mind. But when you have that routine for something like this, I would imagine that's really...
it's very important.
Yeah, good practice to be in. Okay. All right. So right now, and it's kind of funny, we call this rapid fire, right?
Okay.
And which I think is appropriate. It's the first time that name really fit well. Okay. So what we do is we're just going to give you a couple quick little questions, not about guns, just to kind of get to know you a little better. But it's all just easy answers.
Okay.
All right. So tell me, what was your first job?
My first job, my first official job, I worked at an auto parts store as a driver.
Okay. All right. Very good. Are you a night owl or an early bird?
Pretty much early.
Okay. Very good. Now this one I know. Dog or cat person?
Cats. Lots of cats.
So what would happen if a stray dog wandered up to your door?
We have that. We have neighbors' dogs that come over and say hello.
They do?
Yeah, so they come over and eat the cat food, and you know, I pet them. I like the dogs too. I'm an animal person. It doesn't matter. So.
Right. I think usually if you're a dog or a cat person, you tend to be an animal person all the way around.
We feed raccoons, possums, everything else. So.
Right. They stay out though.
Yo,
right?
absolutely.
So are you? Do you like dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
More of a milk chocolate person.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
My favorite. I don't know if I got a favorite color. I never really thought about that, to be honest. So I would have to say blue, I guess, if I had to pick a color.
Do you have a favorite word or phrase?
I guess my favorite, if I had to pick one, I'd have to say my favorite phrase when somebody tells me something, I always tell them reality always wins.
Yep, there you go. That's good. Do you have a favorite movie?
Yeah, but my wife would tell you it's John Wick movie, so I'll go with that.
Oh my gosh! So my husband too. We've been watching those because now they're on TV. You know,
we
you
just
can stream.
We just watched John Wick 4 the other night. So.
Oh yeah, we haven't watched that one yet. He wanted to see it in the theater, and we never made it.
Okay,
but,
I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, don't. They're really good movies.
I like
yeah,
them.
that's awesome.
The gun handling is very good in them too, which is very unusual.
Oh, I'm going to watch for that now when I watch it.
They actually were trained by Taran Tactical Innovations in California that trained them, and you can actually buy guns very similar to what were used in the movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, that's kind of neat. I'm going to look for that. I'm going to say that to my husband. I'll be like, you know, they're really trained on those guns. All right, do you have a favorite song or genre? Country?
I'm a heavy metal fan myself. I grew up listening to Black Sabbath and Alice Cooper and that type of stuff. So that's really what I like. So.
There you go. That surprised me. What about a favorite vacation spot?
I don't really go on vacation too much, so I'm more of a staycation type person.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Take a little time off and actually enjoy where you live. Yeah, exactly. And do you have a favorite mobile app?
Favorite? Well, I do have one called CCW, which I use, which will tell you the different, you know, where you can carry in different states and things like that. So, my phone's more for utility. I'm not of the younger generation where I'm glued
You're not
to the
getting
thing.
your Starbucks with your points.
No, don't do any of that type of stuff.
So. But that app. So there is an app that will tell you what the laws are in other states.
Yes, and you can put in. I've got a South Carolina permit. It'll show you where you've got reciprocity.
Okay.
And also you can click on that state, and it'll pull up all the gun laws and weapons laws in general for that particular state to let you know what you can do.
That's great. That's good to know. So it's easy. We do have, before we get going, we do have another comment from Myrtle Beach Living. And why do you feel someone should carry a gun? That's
actually a very good question. My tagline is, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away. And that's the bottom line. If you may need a gun, when I put a gun on in the morning, I put it on knowing full well that today may be the day that I have to use that gun to protect my life, protect my wife's life, or otherwise mitigate a situation which could not be handled without the use of a gun.
Right.
That's why you carry. You carry to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Right.
That's the long and short of it.
And you know, I think, and that's where the training really comes into, because you have to have that mindset that if you are going to put this weapon on, you may be in certain situations, and you better be prepared for that too. You know, you better be a good shot, you know, or you better know, you know, not be shaking, or you know.
Yes, well, stress is. I've done active shooter training, and you're going to be under stress. Trust me. So, but carrying a gun is a reasonable precaution, right? I mean, it's like having a fire extinguisher in your house.
Sure.
Right? It's the same type of thing. You don't expect to have a fire, but you got a fire extinguisher. I don't expect to have to shoot somebody, but you know, God forbid it may happen one day. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been great. You can get in touch with John. His number is 843-319 8959, also at ANJFirearms.com. It was great speaking with you today. I learned a lot, and it was really fun that you brought the gun along too to show us a little bit about safety, which is so important as
Absolutely.
well. So John, before we go, I do have one more question for you. Tell us why referral marketing is important for your business and why you chose GBN to be a part of it.
Okay. Well, GBN's motto, friends first, business second. We have over 50 people in our GBN group in the Pee Dee
Nice.
chapter. We all know each other. I have absolutely no qualms about referring my clients or my friends to those people, and I know they don't. They have the same for me. So it adds credibility. It adds credibility. Referral marketing is a fairly inexpensive way to get your name out and promote your business, as opposed to spending several $1,000s on traditional billboards and TV ads and things like that. Not saying you don't need to do that type of stuff, but this is a very, very good cost-effective way to promote your business.
Right, I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's been great. That's a good chapter, good sized chapter too.
Yes,
That's
we've been
fantastic.
growing. We've been
yeah,
growing.
that's fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today again and making the drive into Myrtle Beach this morning. And thank you for watching, everyone. And remember, if it's Wednesday, it's GBN Live. See you next time.